Welcome back to Impulse Plays. I am Crazy Carl Winter here with Josh O, an old buddy of mine, here to talk about some Magic. How you doing, Josh?
Great, Carl. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. And you were telling me you were interested in Stasis, so we're gonna watch a video on Stasis today, everybody. Hope you enjoy it. It's a pretty normal Stasis list. You see there's the thwarts and the foil. There's one foil as opposed to multiple foils, which sometimes the Stasis decks like to play. The thing I've stolen is Propaganda. I think Propaganda is sweet in this
Yeah.
deck.
Uh, Main deck and null for a lot of people too.
Yes, main deck of Null is something else.
Yeah.
It is very versatile, very powerful, and I think it's. I mean, people. There's a lot of people who've been saying it in Discord recently, like a Null is main deckable, and I fully agree. The one thing
Yeah.
I'm not sure about is
Lately it
this
has been.
Claws of Gix. I've been seeing a lot of folks playing with it. I don't know. It just doesn't seem good, but what do I know?
That's sack a permanent gain a life.
Yeah, any permanent. So you can sacrifice your stasises and then untap and then play another stasis. So it's kind of like a fifth Chain of Vapor, sort of.
Okay.
But yeah, and then against it we've got our buddy Matt's Madness list, which is something we don't have to look at right now, but hopefully through the powers of post production, you guys will all see it. It's a pretty
Yeah.
straightforward Madness list. It's playing survivals. It's playing the Madness creatures. It's the version that has 4 squeeze, so it's got a lot of pitch cards in the sideboard like Cave In and Pyrokinesis to help a lot against those creature matchups. And I don't know how it's going to do against Stasis, because Stasis is going to try and lock you out and then kill you with Black Vice. But Wild Mongrel has text against that. You discard your hand and then you don't have to take damage from Black Vice. So let's hop into this match and see
Yeah.
how it ends up going, because I'm very curious. I remember watching them play, but I wasn't actually watching how the match turned out. So we got Ryan on the left playing my Stasis deck actually, and Matt on the right. This is at our monthly tournament at Dragon Master Games here in Binghamton, New York. He bottoms up Propaganda. Okay, maybe he doesn't know he's playing against. I think Propaganda would be pretty good there. But I have drawn up some prize cards for our monthlies just to have like a little something to play for, and so that's what that impulse down in the bottom center is. So Matt is carefully studying. All
Uh-huh.
right, Josh, what do you
Hoping
think?
to find some root wallows. Oh, and he found some, he
He
found
found some
some
root
root wallows.
wallas. He
Yeah.
certainly found some root wallas, and he is excited. I can see that from his
Yeah.
card shuffling.
He's ready to go.
Oh, that okay. Well, he did just basically draw 2 cards. Yeah, so he's taking the damage from the Black Vice. But Ryan is under a not insignificant clock with those 2 root wallas.
No, they will catch up with him if he doesn't come up with something.
Definitely. Yeah, so he cracks him for 2 and is it's not under the Vice just yet. So Black Vice deals a damage to each card over 3 cards you have in your hand. Or each card over 4, I'm sorry. So Matt
Matt's
presumably has
looking for
5.
green mana.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. He's just played in triple islands here. Nice
Oh,
propaganda. So
I would
all
mana
attacking
like that
creatures
if
pay
I had
2.
it.
Yeah, I don't think he does though. So I think he's just stuck paying this mana for these basket walls to attack.
That's tough because really what the stasis deck is looking for is for you to tap out.
Yep, yep,
And that's exactly what you have to do here. So I could see
yeah,
why you thought propaganda is such a good fit.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, it makes sense.
yeah. There's a gentleman in Worcester, up in Massachusetts, Shane, who's been playing a lot of Stasis in their monthlies, and he's been crushing people with propaganda in his list. And I can't remember the name of the person, but there was a person who played it in one of the regional events up in again Worcester, playing. But the dude was playing like Stroke of Genius and Morphling. It was a super sweet deck. But it was also playing Propaganda, which everybody at the time was like, "That's so weird." And now I think it's becoming pretty standard, all things considered. Like, which is kind of
Yeah,
strange. And yeah, Matt's just crashing in. Ooh, tapping this
yeah.
wasteland
Gotta
is
do what you gotta do.
dangerous. So for folks that are not sure about this or not familiar with it, Stasis often forms a lock using Forsaken City, which is a non-basic land, and Wasteland can kill non-basic lands. So
Not if it doesn't untap though. So
yeah, but it looks like it's going to for now.
that's
I think
tough.
Matt dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Ryan is somehow racing with these Black Vices because Matt cannot draw a green mana source to cast presumably the 1,000 green spells in his hand.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good
looks like he doesn't
start.
have
I mean, he's
nothing.
drawn a lot of cards.
Yeah, got 2 extra cards off the Careful Study. Ooh, a Frantic Search. Okay, that's going to be
Yeah.
-1 card in hand. if it resolves, which it looks like it's not. Okay, just hits a counterspell. So it's -1 card regardless, which is really what Matt needs to do. He needs to just get cards
Yeah,
out.
he needs to get the cards out of his hand.
Yeah. And Ryan needs to draw a Stasis sooner rather than later. Okay, a little bit of a misstep here with Gush. Steve Menendian wrote a long book about how to gush, so I've got some thoughts on how to gush. There's not really a reason to do an end of turn there, because when you untap, you're gonna have slightly more information with your card drawn and some of the stuff. I mean, it doesn't make a huge difference, but
Yeah.
generally better to do it on your turn. Okay, so we got the Stasis. I'm so sorry, Matt, that does not untap. And now it's just a matter of Ryan keeping the Stasis up. Okay, got a land. Yeah, he really needs to hit like
that's good
multiple
if
lands.
that's good against Forsaken City, the second wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
But the Stasis deck has so many ways, like Gush, Daze, Thwart, to just
Mm-hmm.
get these islands back in their hand and to
Yep.
keep paying for Stasis.
Oh, interesting. So he's dazing his Claws of
Dazing his own
Gix
Gix.
and dazing it again. Interesting. Okay, so just to maintain the stasis lock. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's, like you said, returning those lands to his hand. Oh,
Interesting way to do it.
did he float mana to? Oh no, he dazed his daze. I'm sorry. Okay, that makes much more sense. I was like, why is he dazing his Claws of Gix twice? That doesn't make any sense. Because he's dazing the daze. So he returned, basically fail gushed. Ooh,
There's the
Metro Green
green mana,
Source. There we
but
go. That might be too little too late.
showing up too late. Yeah, he's really. If anyone who's played Stasis knows it's just paralysis.
It could be rough, yeah. But notice this game is
And
going
once
at a
that,
very good clip. Like it's not going slow.
yeah. And once it gets a hold of you, that's it.
Tough to break out for sure, yeah.
It's very tough to break out.
Yeah. But
We'll
we're
see if he can keep paying for the upkeep on
yeah,
the
that's,
Stasis.
and if he can't, he's got the Claws of Gix to sacrifice and get his untap step back. And
Yeah,
Matt is, I think, rightfully thinking about what he can afford to tap out for here, or if he just attacks. I think attacking is not where you want to be. I think he needs to cast a creature.
that life total is just ticking down. He's got to get cards out of his hand.
Yep, the
He needs to cast
Wild Mongrel.
a wild mongrel here. Yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
Okay.
there we go. There we go.
And it looks like it resolves. Okay.
Again, maybe keeping that wasteland up is best instead of the other.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt's not super familiar with Stasis.
Yeah.
It's just not something that gets played a whole lot, and Matt's newer to Magic in general, and then also fairly new to Pre-Modern. Well, he's been playing for a good chunk of time now, but we just don't play a lot of Stasis locally,
Yeah,
so
there's not a lot of Stasis in our area.
yeah, I guess I'll have to remember to do that. Although Ryan was really into playing it today, or this event, so like, yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah.
It's something everybody
Yeah.
should play against. It's a very powerful deck, very versatile, very inexpensive to build as well. I think you can build it for under $100 pretty easily. Which, I
Not
mean,
bad at all.
inexpensive is relatively speaking,
And a
but
lot of these cards are good in other decks.
for sure, yeah.
Days, Gush,
Yep, yep,
foils,
yep. Days Gush foil,
uh,
definitely. Counterspell.
Counterspell.
All right, so he is.
Black Vice shows up in a lot of decks too.
Yeah, yeah,
Similar style like prison decks.
yeah. There was a sweet deck that one of our local guys, Drew, played a few months ago, which was running Upheaval and Black
Like
Vice.
Turbo Lands, Upheaval, and
Yeah.
then he would Upheaval and then just drop the Black Vice and say good luck.
Yep, and you just choked to death on your turn because you'd have like 15 cards in your hand. It was great. That was a glorious
Yeah,
deck.
it was. He's an inventive player.
Very much so. So yeah, these Black Vices are now just dead cards because the Wild Mongrel is always going to assure that Matt has fewer than 5 cards in hand.
Yeah, it's not ideal for Matt here, but the mongrel gives him a new lease on life.
Yeah,
Gives him
I
a
mean,
way
Matt
out of
just
it
gets Matt's under
indefinitely.
zero pressure right now. Like he can just sit there and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
nothing, wait to draw lands, get enough lands, um, and then attack for lethal eventually. So the onus is really on Ryan to find a Chain of Vapor to return the Wild Mongrel to his hand. Oh, he's got some proxies. What are those proxies? Oh, they're Squeeze. Okay, gotcha. Oh, that's cute. So he can discard his squeeze. Oh, wait, no, that's not how that works. Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah. So this is a question they had was active player versus non-active player. So what happens is Matt's squee triggers go on the stack as the active player, and then Ryan's black vice triggers go on the stack as the non-active player, and the stack resolves from top to bottom. The black vices resolve. Matt doesn't take any damage, and then Matt gets a squeeze back. So he basically gets free cards in hand, which is pretty sick.
Hmm.
He's got like 5 or 6 cards. So a couple more squeeze. He can just be lethal with this Wild Mongrel. I would very seriously consider attacking with this Basking Rewalla, but okay, so he did not. So he sacrificed the Stasis because he doesn't have any more mana to pay for it. And ooh, that is not something the Stasis player ever wants to do, is pass and give their opponent an untapped step.
Yeah.
Is this lethal? Pump, pump, pay. Yeah. Strong. Oh no, he doesn't get those back if he does it during upkeep, yeah. It doesn't matter either way. He either discards them now or he discards them earlier and then gets them back and discards them again. Ooh, nice mana short. Okay. Mana short's an instant that taps your opponent out of all their mana and drains their mana pool. So you can do fun things like stop Decree of Justice or stop a Stifle Knot.
Is that what they're doing with like Stroke of Genius in decks like this?
Can be, yeah. Just kill your opponent by ducking them, yeah.
Or just you just draw like an insane amount of cards?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And he's got Counterspell Daze. Oh, that's not where he wants to be. He needs to hit Stasis like I don't know, Ryan needs a lot. Ryan needs to hit Stasis, he needs to hit Chain of Vapor to deal with a Wild Mongrel. There's just a lot of boxes that he needs to tick to get this match to resolve in his favor.
So they're just using mana short as like a one. I mean, with propaganda, it's almost like a one-turn stasis.
It's like a fog.
Yeah.
It has utility against other things. It's good against control decks. Oh
Yeah.
wow, he hit the Chain of Vapor and the Stasis. That is super sweet. Okay. So Chain of Vapor the Mongrel. Okay. Yep. I think Matt's gonna be in a lot of trouble with this Stasis coming down.
May as well sack a land and return the propaganda.
Yeah, make him pay 3 extra mana for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Matt's rightfully discarding a bunch of cards to keep his hand size low.
Yeah.
And I think Ryan is probably now explaining how Chain of Vapor works. Ooh, a wonder. Not that it matters that much, but it's still fun. So the Wild Mongo's gonna get bounced. What would be cute is if he was under Stasis right now and those Basking Walls are tapped, he could bounce his Basking Walls with the Chain of Vapor and then discard them to Wild Mongrel and cast them again. Okay, so here comes the Stasis, and it looks like Matt is going to start choking on these Black Vices. Not this turn, but coming up. Unless he just draws like runner land like forever. Does not look like that's what happened. Yeah, so for folks
is Ryan ever gonna find? Oh yeah, I was gonna say, is he ever gonna find a Forsaken City?
Yep, he found it right there. And that's I think that's probably gonna be game. Yeah, Matt is doing the correct thing and not spending a ton of time hemming and hawing when not being able to do anything. Because really that's where the Stasis matches take forever, is where people are like trying to figure out what they can do when there's really nothing they can do.
Yeah.
All right, so moving into game 2, sideboards. I don't know. I would imagine that Ryan is probably going to bring in these curse totems, which are typically for like elves, but shutting off Wild Mongrel is it's not nothing. Also shuts down the Basking Rewalla pumps, and I don't know if
that's like an only out against elves, right?
Yeah, generally speaking,
they kind of have to like mulligan to that. To that curse totem.
Yeah, some of the more prolific Stasis players have actually just been cutting the curse totem entirely and just saying, "I'll just lose to elves. That's fine." Like there's only one Nick Mayo in the world, and he's only you can only see him so often. So,
what else does Stasis not want to? I imagine mono red is pretty tough.
Yeah, Sly can be tough, but Sly's tough for everybody. So
it is tough for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So Mongrel comes in, and did Ryan draw? Looks say it's an
And
Arcana now.
then
No, it's a propaganda. Okay.
propaganda. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
I've
Got
always
a null
I've always been
counterspell.
impressed with
Oh, mana
just
leak.
the. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
I
Sorry.
I like the blue green. I like the madness decks. Just the tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Like they throw down a threat, they counterspell two things, and then just
The game's over.
get
Yeah.
in with the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. And this Wild Mongrel is definitely taking Ryan to Tempo Town. Ooh, I like the discard of the
Discarding.
card. It's kind of like preemptively getting underneath Black Vi. His place Forsaken City. Awkward. Oh, hey,
Oh,
he got his value and
yeah.
didn't even realize it. He's got another counterspell. Yeah, he's got a counterspell. Okay, pretty funny though.
See,
And
this
Stasis
is.
comes down now. Yep. Oh, there we go.
Nope. Don't untap.
None of that. We don't do that here.
It doesn't look like the world's best stasis because he still has.
Yeah, it's
Um.
not, but it's what he's got.
Um. Yeah.
I think that's Chain of Vapor. Okay. The typical shortcut for Stasis is, I mean, you may do the Forsaken City untap tap once, but after that it's understood that you're exiling a card to untap it, and then you're gonna tap and pay for the Stasis. So
Yeah.
I actually lost a game against Rich Shea the other day playing against Stasis as Dreadnought, or was it vice versa? I think it was vice versa. I think I was playing Stasis. He stifled my Forsaken City untap trigger, so I couldn't pay for my Stasis,
Yeah.
and my Stasis died. It felt really bad.
That's got to be another tough one. Why you don't see stasis all over the place because it
Mm-hmm.
really does get a hold of you and then that's it. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine Dreadnought being too heavily affected by um
Um, yes and no. So like half of their enablers get shut off by Stasis. So Vision Charm gives phasing, and phasing happens during the untap step.
untapped stuff. Yeah.
So when there's no untap, there's no phasing.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is very powerful.
Um, but they have gush too, and
They
they have
do.
daze too.
Yep, they're designed to
And
play under Stasis just about as much as you are, but
yeah,
you have the luxury of having your threat much more difficult to be dealt with by the Dreadnought player.
yeah.
So, um, all right, so he's just paying for the Stasis with the Forsaken City. And the fact that there's no Black Vice is going to be challenging. I think Ryan was lamenting that I only played 3 in this list, but I don't know. It feels bad to draw multiple Black Vices sometimes. So page the Stasis again.
He seemed to value it when he mulliganed in the first game. He threw
Mm-hmm.
propaganda away instead of the black flies.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Is that a Chain of Vapor? Yeah, it's a Chain of Vapor and another Stasis. Okay.
a free root wall there.
Yep. Just discarding it to the Wild Mongrel. And he goes for the Chain of Vapor on the Stasis now. Interesting. Interesting choice. Okay, equally interesting to counterspell. So I don't think you care about the Stasis going right here, so just let it go away and then come back.
Well, Ryan's down to one card in hand, so he's kind of locked with the Forsaken City, right?
That's true, yeah. He really needs to draw Gush badly,
Yeah.
as is so often the case when you're playing a Gush deck. Okay, so he just lets it die, which is fine. He's at 15. Yeah, he can just let the Stasis die pretty freely, I think. He just takes like 3 or 4 damage, and then that's, it's whatever. But he's going to untap and probably not be able to do a whole lot, huh?
Ryan with two cards in hand, and Matt seems to have a lot more.
He
3 or 4
does.
cards.
Oh, that's a lot of arrogant worms. That is a
Yeah.
lot of arrogant worms. So he's paying for
And
one
a
of
squee.
them and a squee. Yeah. Okay. He's
So
paying
if
for the other one
that
too. Yeah.
mongrel is a 5/5 right now.
Looks like, yeah. I think he's considering whether to pump the root wall or play the other worm. I think you just played the other worm. Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
6.
Fine.
Oof. Yeah, strong.
So.
Yeah, Ryan needs Druggush. Yeah, that's a Black Vice. It's a little late.
Yeah, that's not
Stasis
we
comes
need
out.
here. Stasis. It's
And
gonna
that
put him
will.
down to 1. Those arrogant worms will still put him down to 1.
Ooh. Yep. Impulsing when you have Stasis out does not feel good. It is never good. You do not want to
he
do that.
shows the thwart to the
Like, I
camera.
needed that. Yeah, I get it, man. Yeah, a lot of this game just comes down to the fact that Ryan just never drew Gush. Like, Gush is so
Yeah.
important for this deck. It lets you reset your lands under stasis. It gives you fuel for your Forsaken City. It's your only source of actual card advantage as opposed to virtual card advantage from the stasis. Just does a lot of things.
Impulse first would have been better, but
I agree.
he realizes he has to play Stasis here.
Yeah. Just
Too,
getting a little
so,
more
I
information,
mean,
yeah. Because, like, yeah, he could go for, like, Impulse into Propaganda, I guess, but, like, Matt's got 16,000 lands in play, so Propaganda doesn't a whole lot. And
Ryan trying to figure out his outs here.
Yeah, I think he's pondering whether or not to cast his Black Vice. I think the correct move is to scoop. So I don't think he's going to be able to win. Yeah, puts him down to 1. And Matt just needs to draw like a Basking Root Walla.
Yeah, anything wins.
Yeah.
Poke him with a pillow.
Oh, he's just telling him he forgot to squee. Good guy, Ryan. Good guy, Ryan. It's just your daily friendly reminder to put a play aid on top of your deck when you're playing with squeeze, so you remember to read back. No shame in that.
Yeah.
The rules let you do it. You should do it. Back in our day, you didn't get to do things like that. You forgot your squee. You forgot your squee, and it stays in your graveyard. Oh yeah, I forgot he had that Forsaken City. Okay, so he doesn't have to lose his stasis, but he is just treading water super hard. Bless his heart. He's doing the best he can with it, but all right, he's got the Black Vice, which will do nothing with the Wild Mongrel in play. Yep. So discard and bring it back. This is just a matter of time until Matt draws some way to kill Ryan. So I guess we'll just kind of watch the cards get exiled for a little bit.
He's got the colors he needs.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the mana open. Just waiting for the card.
Yep, just needs a creature. And that deck plays a lot of creatures.
If he could find a red, he can cast a squee and win with a squee.
Yep. Oh man, wild. Discards survival of the fittest. Like, obviously I understand why, but man, that's weird. It's like I'm gonna just throw this in the graveyard. One of the best cards in the format.
It is.
First totem.
Kind of a weird card for a tempo deck.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that powerful. It's just that good.
Yeah, it gives you a mid game as opposed and a late game as opposed to just not. Well, Matt's doing a good job drawing the lands he needs, but just not hitting any action. You remember to squeak. Good job, Matt. Good job.
Then, Ryan's gonna thwart whatever Matt does finally see.
Right.
Oh,
so he's gonna lock himself to his island.
But I
here.
think 1 life is just it's just too little. I don't see how.
Yeah. Yep, that 1 life is not a lot of wiggle room for sure. So what is that he cast? I'm guessing it's a frantic search. I can't see it's in the glare, so. Yeah, okay. Discards the squee. And draws. Brings back the squee after he draws. Ooh, Wasteland. That is ungood.
Does that do it?
That would do it. It'll kill the stasis. Yeah.
Well, he's got the.
Oh, he didn't kill the Forsaken City. Okay.
Oh.
I think he might have just forgotten that is a non-basic land and can thusly wasteland it, but.
Yeah.
I think it's just a little bit of slip, little lack of experience playing against Stasis. Again, it's not a super common deck, despite being relatively inexpensive and I think very effective. I think it is a very, very effective deck.
And lands kind of sit on the other side of the board in a big pile, and they
Mm-hmm.
just tend to get overlooked.
Yep. Yep. Very much so. No. Okay. So now what Matt needs to do is he needs to donate that City of Brass to Ryan and then Rashad import it. That will get him there.
Oh, that's the red to cast Squee.
It certainly is. I'd not considered
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. I don't know that Matt saw it either. So, yeah. So I don't know. I often will say Stasis games are not usually the slog like this. Like it's usually Drago, 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 and then that's it. One way or another, the game ends. But these guys actually have some things to think about. Yeah, Matt's correctly pointing out that the wild will's huge in this game. There's the gush that Ryan needs. Okay.
Yeah.
And looks like Matt's got a mana leak. Okay. Yeah, just denies him a couple cards. Again, Matt's not under any pressure, so. It's funny as I don't think it's kind of weird that I don't know, I guess I never played City Brass in my Stasis, or not my Stasis decks. Yeah, I definitely played in my Stasis decks. Didn't play in my Madness decks. And it's, as you mentioned, it's especially interesting with the squeeze because it does let you cast that squee. Okay, Reverent Silence comes out to destroy the Stasis, gives Ryan a nice chunk of life. But that is
Oh man.
probably going to do it unless Ryan has another Stasis in his hand.
Having to give him life.
Yeah, the other Stasis. Okay.
Having to give him life was
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. I don't know, it's kind of like I think Ryan's checking for his Chain of Vapors to see where he's at with his Chain of Vapors because he has to deal with that Wild Mongrel, otherwise he can't win the game. That is definitely a strike against Black Vice, is that if your opponent has some sort of discard outlet, you can't kill them with it.
Yeah. Die's easy to powder keg too, which has been seeing a lot of play too.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and maybe I'll
And you only have 4 Black Vies.
yeah. Okay, Ryan's scooping it up. Yeah, he's not gonna do it. Yeah. All right, so moving into game 3. It was a bit of a slog in game 2. If you stuck with us this long, thank you. I think it was an interesting game. Like there wasn't a whole lot that happened, but there were some very interesting decision points. The game probably should have ended a few turns earlier if Matt had realized he could wasteland the Forsaken City and break the stasis lock. But that's why we play these monthly events to learn these things.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the Basking Root coming out.
We often bring decks we're not so familiar with on these occasions.
That's true. Yeah, not something we're super used to playing. Yep. Matt, you want to attack? Yes, Matt, you want to attack. And so Ryan's just making his land drops. Matt does not landing that Wild Mongrel is huge because it cuts down on the duration of it increases the duration of the clock.
And Ryan's learned to keep those off the board as much as possible.
Oh, he knew. I don't think he ever knew.
Isn't going to do it here. He needs a foil, which is kind of harsh.
Yeah.
Returning.
Gush. Okay.
A thwart or a foil. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So he's going for the gush to get the foil. Laments the fact that he drew a gush, and is unable to foil the Wild Mongrel, and has to let it resolve.
That's tough.
He drew 2 gushes off his gush. That's often where you want to be, but not now. Yeah, which is pretty huge. I think that's what you have to do, is you have to go for that gush there to try and foil if you don't have the thwart, but it does not help you tempo-wise against this tempo aggro deck.
Yeah.
Ryan's Ditto is which is down in the middle of the screen there, is not doing his job in protecting him from Matt's creatures. And Matt's feels like he's got everything he wants there. He's got double blue.
Island represents counterspell.
Yep. He's got painless sources
on the board.
Okay, so not representing Counterspell. He's representing Mana Leak now.
Yeah.
Cracks him for 5. Yeah, that's not the longest of clocks. Going for an Impulse. Nice Rochester Royal stepped Impulse. Thank you, Alex. And he impulses into Stasis and Curse Totem. I'm not sure what to take there. I think you take the Curse Totem. It shaves a lot of it gives you a lot of extra time. It gives you a lot of extra time if it resolves.
And it's a way to eventually win the game.
Mm-hmm. Propaganda comes out. Okay.
Propaganda first.
Strong play. Very strong play.
I would Mana Leak that if I had it.
Instead, he will naturalize it. Oh, gets dazed. Okay.
Oh!
The daze comes up huge.
It's rough for Matt.
Yeah, yeah. But he's hitting his land drops, which is not easy to do as the Madness deck, and is exceptionally good against Stasis. I had some very traumatic games playing Stasis at LobsterCon 2 years ago against Dreadnought decks that, with their 18 land decks, hit 7 land drops in a row to not die to my Black Vice. This was without gushing. They just randomly drew 7 lands in a row. Which typically would be not very good, but against the Stasis deck, it's pretty great.
Oh, we have another naturalize here. Oh, we got a...
That countered survival, okay. Or discard survival. Oh, to get extra damage in. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Repping the counter spell here. I'd be okay with not countering, yeah.
2 propagandas.
Yeah, that's an expensive attack there. And I saw a white-bordered card in Ryan's hand, so I'm thinking he has Stasis. But he also has to resolve it, which is not going to be the easiest thing in the world to do against this potential... Not counterspell, never mind. Matt keeps untapping his second blue source, so I'm like, yep, no counterspell there. But he is keeping mana up for Mana Leak, which is a very real thing that could happen.
This the Stasis?
I think it's got to be.
We're at 8 life.
He's got the Black Vice in his hand, too. He's got everything he needs. It's just, I think he's short on lands.
Yeah.
First Totem.
First.
Okay. Yeah, I like this, because Ryan's at 8.
That'll save him some life.
It means that Matt cannot do a bunch of damage to him on his next attack, and it sets him up for when Stasis comes down next turn.
And gives him a way to win the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, shutting off the discard ability on Wild Mongrel.
Yep. Matt drew another land, which is pretty great for him. Cracks in with the Mongrel. And pays for the propagandas. Yeah. Okay, another end of turn gush. Again, not quite where you want to be with that card typically. You want to do it on your turn. Like, there's no downside to doing it on your turn, because you're not paying mana for it, so it's not like you're using a resource you wouldn't have otherwise. It's just you're denying yourself a little bit of information by not drawing your card for the turn first. It could be an issue if he's worried about counterspell, maybe. Maybe that's why he's doing it there, but I think if your gush gets countered, you're thrilled because you just get to slam down your Stasis and win.
Yeah.
Black Vice comes out with Matt having like 3 cards in hand, and Matt's just hitting his land drops like a pro.
Okay.
Oh, did he stop making land drops as soon as I said that? He stopped making land drops as soon as I said that. Makes sense. Yeah, he needs another land to attack with this Basking Wall as well. Going for the Stasis here. Yep.
There's the Stasis. Plays other island? No? There's no other island?
No, he's got island. Not sure why he's not playing it though. Oh, I think Matt's responding. Okay. Which is fine. There's no big difference between playing island here and not playing island. Because if he counterspells, he's tapped out.
Mana Leak is what?
It's 3, yeah.
What does something about it?
Yeah. Naturalize on the... Ooh, interesting. On the Curse Totem. Okay. That buys Matt a ton of time.
But yeah, yeah, that's an interesting choice.
I mean, yeah, he could go for the stasis, but I mean, I don't know.
Um,
Yeah, he hits his
and
land
then
drop, which
Ryan
is
just
huge.
doesn't have that many lands, so actually, it actually seems like a pretty good choice.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, but there's a ghost.
Which helps him refuel and reset his land drops for the stasis, which is pretty huge.
Yeah. Did he not pay for the stasis?
Yeah, he went back and did it retroactively, I think.
Yeah.
Got discard some cards here. Okay. What does he discard? I mean, there's got an impulse there. Impulse is terrible under stasis, so you want to get rid of that. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Yeah, it's terrible because he needs Chain of Vapor again.
Counterspell,
Yeah.
counterspell two.
Yeah, kind of feels a little awkward when you only have one land available to you.
Yeah. You're kind of stuck on free counterspells for a while.
Mm-hmm. He's got to make those land drops, so it's going to be really hard to discard lands. Yep, impulse counterspell down. Yep, that's about what we thought. Okay, Wild Mongrel comes out.
Another wild mongrel.
And all Matt has to do is make 4 more land drops. He gets to attack for the win. Oh, I think I saw a Chain of Vapor in Ryan's hand there. Yep.
Yeah.
So he's got the tools he needs. So really what Ryan wants to do now is he wants to build up his lands, then go for an end of turn Chain of Vapor on Stasis, and then bounce the Wild Mongrel by sacrificing a land. And then Wild Mongrels, plural, I should say. Oh no, he can't do that. He has 2 Chain of Vapors. Oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
Carefully studies. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess you can draw lands, which is what you want. Okay, the Basking Well comes out from the discard from the careful study. Big fan of that. Frantic Search is a card I didn't really give a lot of credence to in Madness, but the ability to just cast the Arrogant Worms at instant speed is not to be underestimated. I think it's very, very strong.
It's not such a great plan. It might be a good thing to side out in this matchup.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to leave out in the main deck.
Definitely. All right, so he Stasis. Oh, he bounced the Stasis. Okay. Did he run out of lands? Okay. Oh, I think he's trying to land his Curse Totem. But he doesn't have. He needs to draw Forsaken City to be able to build up his land counts.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing that in this match so much.
Yeah, he only drew it. Yeah, he's only drawn. I think it was only in the second game. So.
Yeah, it's probably running 3, right?
Let me check the list. I think it's the full 4. Nope, it's only 3. It's only 3. Yeah, I used to play 4, and then I ended up cutting them because you really don't want to draw multiple Forsaken Cities. That card is not good.
Yeah.
All right, Matt's doing it. He's making his land drops. Another end of turn Gush. Okay. There's the Forsaken City that he's looking for. That's pretty strong. One of Matt's Wastelands is already tapped, so he's only got presumably 3 more left.
Oh, and then
that is
Curse Totem
is risky. Yeah. So the Curse Totem's a great drop here because it shuts off the Wild Mongrel's discard ability. But if Matt draws exactly Wasteland, he can destroy the Forsaken City and then attack. Yeah. Okay, he did not draw that. I think that Ryan actually has foil in his hand, which is pretty sweet for him. Okay, right, yeah, we're
Oh,
past the point.
there it is. There it is.
Yeah, we're past the point where it wins the game, though.
Yeah.
Tragically, yes, just a couple turns too late. But good catch on Matt's side to recognize that it is time to destroy that Forsaken City. And Ryan is, I think, yeah, he's just trying to survive long enough to draw enough Chain of Vapors to. Oh no, he doesn't need Chain of Vapors. Sorry, I forgot. He has the Curse Totem. He's Chain of Vaporing his Stasis now. Interesting choice. And Matt has the Mana Leak to stop the chain. Stasis is gonna die. And then Ryan gets died. I think we have a handshake coming out soon. So he's gotta get him for 2 with 2 creatures. He needs 8 mana. Yeah, Matt has like 7, like at least like 12 mana out, so he's gonna be able to attack with at least 2 Wild Mongrels. So looks like we got our winner coming up in Matt swinging in with these Wild Mongrels.
4/8 for propaganda, and that's it.
All right, I guess
unless Matt Ryan's probably got another Chain of Vapor.
Entirely possible, yeah. Entirely possible. Ooh, he taps out a blue, signaling no counters, but attacks with another Baskin Root Walla. Okay. Get him down to 1. Oh, so interesting here. So here, Matt can chain it back.
You go after you bounce the Curse Totem, and then
you can, but then he can then chain it back to your other Wild Mongrel.
Oh yeah,
which is less than ideal. So I think Matt's correctly not chaining it, getting Ryan down to 1, and then saying draw Stasis or lose. I wonder if maybe Matt should not have attacked with the Root Walla. I guess I don't know. I could see not doing that, saving the mana to use on the wild, like cast the Wild Mongrel again or something like that.
Yeah.
Days.
Oh.
All right, excellent match.
And the Madness deck gets there.
Yeah, not what I was expecting. I expected Stasis with a bunch of propagandas to be in pretty good shape, but Ryan did have some pretty unlucky lack of Stasis or lack of gush draws in the first couple games.
I don't know. Nobody gets excited about or there's not enough excitement about Madness. It's better than
definitely better than people give credit for. Agreed, 100%. Yeah, and Matt's been doing really well with it recently. We were playing a game a while back, and he was able to get me down to 1 permanent in play when I was playing Tinker Stacks.
Tempo deck's very strong.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, very much so. Okay, yeah. So you brought in the Curse Totems and the Propaganda, bringing out Misdirection, a Null, Claws of Gix, and a Daze. So with Daze, sometimes you're gonna have those taken out on the play, taken out on the draw, depending on like how you're feeling the match is gonna go. But either way, great match. You guys did a great job playing that out for us. Thank you for sticking around as long as you did, because that was a bit of a slog. But I enjoyed watching. I always like watching Stasis do its thing, and even if it does die to the Madness deck from time to time.
And if you haven't played a lot against Stasis, it helps to watch videos.
Definitely. Yeah, and this is a good way of showing. You just got to save up your mana and take your shot when you see it's best, right?
And careful about tapping out, because they're going to drop a Stasis.
Yep, that is always what they're aiming for.
That could be it.
Yep, exactly. All right, everybody, we've kept you long enough. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the day. And for Josh and myself, we'll see you another time.
Thank you so much, guys.